wish we had a guest on that had food. Let me get my phone.
Oh, are you hungry again?
I'm freaking
Katie?
starving, man.
I'm sorry.
Starving, Marvin. I should have brought a snack up here. I only had a protein bar.
Yeah, we should be able to eat on the show. It's digital. We can do whatever we want, right, Kyle? Yeah. Where's she in? One, two, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that good?
That's great.
Okay.
Check, check, check. We are on
Just a few minutes
YouTube.
away from
Fox Local.
There were no questions off limits. You can ask them why did they close down.
Okay. Yes.
Feel free. That's what I want to know.
Do you guys want to move this chair or are we leaving it there?
Oh, we want 2 chairs set up. Yeah, we only need 2 chairs. Oh, sorry. No, thank you. Yeah.
You say? My fault? No, I was asking the three chairs question.
My mom said she can hear us, you guys. Well, good morning. Thank you for watching Chicago Now. We have a very exciting day ahead, full of very interesting questions. I can't wait to ask a
And
few of
answers.
our guests.
On our Reddits.
Yeah, Reddit buzz. Anthony loves that. So in just a few minutes, we're going to be talking with Mike Levitola, chairman of Foxtrot. That's what I'm talking about. I've got lots of questions for Foxtrot about a brand new location in Lincoln Park. So you remember they closed their doors.
Yes, it's been kind of a roller coaster of
That's what I
late
wanna
for
know.
Foxtrot.
Tell me the
We're going to get the details.
Lift the veil.
We are told no questions are off limits for Mr. Mike
We're
Lavitola.
told. Okay, so that was back in April 2024, and they since have reopened some locations in Chicago. So we'll hear about the new location that's coming up at 10:10.
Can't wait to talk to him.
Yes.
They've got like a renaissance going, and they're growing and growing. Also coming up, a brand new list is out of Illinois' wealthiest counties. So
Okay.
we're going to dive into that and talk about where the most affordable local places here in our viewing area in Chicagoland are.
Yeah.
And would you live there? Also, Caitlin, do you follow Barstool Sports at all and
Yes.
the pizza reviews?
I mean, yes, we've talked about that, right?
Okay. So we have Gabby going out to double check the work of the Barstool founder, Dave Portnoy, because he is Mr. One, what is it? One bite?
I don't know. What is it
It's
called,
the one
girls?
bite rule. One bite, everyone knows the rules. There you go.
Is that what
Thank
it is?
you.
So he judges the food with one
One
bite.
bite.
But-
Right.
So he has to get all the toppings in that one bite.
He's got to get the if it doesn't grab him in that one bite, then
Can I tell you something? This is day 2. Yesterday we had barbecue.
Oh, yeah.
Today we have pizza, none of which are in front of us.
we need
We
to
need to
get
get a
you.
coffee table.
Caitlin, you are on the last half of a marathon day. You've been on the air for how many hours straight at this point?
Since 4:30.
Since 4:30, so you haven't had a proper
rocking and
breakfast
rolling.
break.
Did you have
I've
your
got my breakfast burrito in my tummy, so I'm fine. So these stories, like yesterday, I felt for you during the barbecue segment.
Like my mouth is already watering thinking about pizza.
Yeah.
I had a protein bar, but that was hours ago, you guys. Not to complain. Gabby, we're excited to see you in that pizza. I want to hear about it.
Yes.
I want to hear
Can't
all
wait
the
to check
details.
in with Gabby, and hopefully she brought a pie
The taste of the
back
sauce.
to the newsroom. Oh,
Wait,
there's a Gabby
she's
Premus
here.
sighting.
We were just talking about you, Gabs.
We're gonna get you soon on the
Yeah.
air. But before that, we
Foxtrot.
are talking about Foxtrot. According to the website here, the opening that Caitlin just mentioned, there's a new location going in on Webster. It's now their 9th. And guess what? 2 locations in Dallas are about to
They're darling, I have to say.
go in. They are.
Their
cool.
style, you know?
Is there anything you can't find at a Foxtrot? I mean, like it
A
feels like they
Fox.
check a lot of boxes.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite?
Well, I've only ever
favorite
been
option?
to the one at North Milwaukee and Damon.
Yeah. What
And
did
I've
you buy
only ever
there?
had the grab and go sandwich.
Let me
There's
see.
one of the locations
I
right
want to
there.
pull up like
The locations
Foxtrot.
here in the city, there's one in River North, Fulton Market, Wicker Park, Gold Coast, Old Town, and then the one in the Milwaukee and Damon. Tomorrow there will be yet another one. So,
All right,
have you ever been to a Foxtrot?
No,
Caitlin?
but look, I'm looking up their most popular items. So I guess they have roasted banana and caramel ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, with spicy pickled potato chips on the side, and they've got some
it's
snack
serious.
mixes, and then
It's
the pre-made
serious.
sandwiches
Yep.
that you were talking about. They've got breakfast tacos.
They do. Yeah, they've got breakfast sandwiches too, I believe.
Cheese croissants, yum. Avocado toast, shiitake miso
Yes.
bowls. Foxtrot, you are making me hungry. So a lot of good food options. They've got steak. Stop.
That's what I'm saying. They check like every box.
Gummies, jackfruit chips, and coffee. Delicious.
Coffee. Yeah, and you can
Foxtrot.
also get wine and I believe craft beer there as
Okay.
well, if memory serves.
Wow.
Do we have Mr. Mike Lavitola?
We do. Hi, Mike. Good morning. Thanks for
Can
joining
you hear us okay, Mike?
Mr.
Yes,
Chairman.
there he is. We
Okay.
can see
Oh,
you.
maybe
we
I
can't.
gotta turn up my volume a little bit. Can we hear you? Are you on mute?
Yeah.
There
You
we
guys hear
go.
me?
Okay, let me start by saying you look like the chairman of Foxtrot. If I
What
could
do you
paint
mean
a
by that,
picture.
Caitlin? He just looks. He's
Doesn't
got that
he?
chairman vibe. Yeah.
Yeah, you look so posh and
He
cool,
is a
and your
posh-looking
glasses
guy,
and
yeah.
the beard and all. Well, thank you for joining us this morning.
The glasses do a lot of the work, I promise.
I love it. So, are you excited about your new opening?
Oh, I'm excited for many reasons. You know, Lincoln Park was our second store ever back in the day. I think we probably opened 7, 8 years ago. And so getting to reopen in the neighborhood is really exciting. And it's also the one that I personally live closest to. So
Oh, there
excited
you
for
go.
many reasons.
What's your favorite thing available at Foxtrot, Mike?
It depends on the time of day, where the answers are very different. But in the mornings, I got to go with their breakfast tacos. They're amazing. They've been the number one selling thing on our menu for, many years, and they're certainly my favorite.
I have friends from Austin, Texas,
Yes.
and down in Texas,
Uh-huh.
breakfast tacos are just the thing.
So do you like hard shell tacos?
They're not hard
these
shell
are
typically.
burritos?
They're like mini burritos, I would say, or mini tacos. Now you got a couple of locations in Dallas as well. Did you find that they were a natural fit down there? Because I know I've never been to Dallas, but when I go to Austin, it is all about the breakfast tacos, Mike.
For sure. So, I'm from Chicago, grew up here, obviously live here. I did a quick stint in Austin after college, sort of met my co-founder for Foxtrot. And so that is where I fell in love with breakfast tacos. And, as we opened up in Dallas, they were a big hit there as well. But I definitely think it's more fun to get better access to those here in Chicago.
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to ask you the burning question we've all been wondering. Will you please walk us through what happened with all the closures and then the reopenings? Because I know we talked about it on the news, and it was everybody was devastated because Foxtrot was closing. But then we had the story. It seemed like a short time later that you guys were reopening. So what happened?
One by one. Yeah,
Yes.
run us through
Yeah,
from
I
your
mean,
vantage
it
point.
was a really sad situation. I mean, there's sort of no way else to put it. I think the company just grew too big too fast, and it was just I don't know how else to say it. It was a really sad, really unfortunate situation. But getting myself to come back to the company last summer and get to hire a bunch of folks back and get to really work with all the local vendors again, which is why I started the business in the first place, has been it's been a lot of work over the last year to kind of get us back to where we are now, but it's been really rewarding at the same time.
I've seen this in movies. Okay, I've never opened a business, obviously, but is it one of those things where you open up and then it's like it kind of rolls out of control and then you kind of have to like gather it back and then reestablish yourself? Is that kind of what you're describing?
Yeah, and just getting back to basics, right? I mean, I think what people loved about Foxtrot is they could walk in the door and find a bunch of amazing local products that they could discover for the first time or hadn't seen anywhere else. And as the company got bigger, we started carrying more items, and it just really grew to a place that in my opinion kind of wasn't the heart of why we started. And so as we reopened stores last fall, it was really getting back to basics and working with our local vendors again, and really having a tight point of view on, this is why we carry this beer, this is why we carry this wine, this is our favorite donut, and this is why it's in store. And I think customers, really appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Will you kind of let's drill down a little bit and talk about the breakfast tacos, for example. Like, where can you kind of walk us through where do those come from? Like the ingredients, and like how do you guys bring those to market?
Yeah, a lot of taste testing, which is definitely the most fun part of the job. So right now we've got a barbacoa going. We've got a bacon, which is this like amazing double smoked like peppered bacon. They're incredible. We've got a rajas, which is kind of like a veggie taco if you're trying to be like a
Yum.
little bit healthy.
Yeah.
And then this bean and potato one as well. And then they're all made on El Milagro tortillas that are made right here in Chicago.
So if someone's never been to a Foxtrot, what can they expect when they walk in? So you're talking about food. I mentioned you guys have coffee. Is it a store? Is it a restaurant? What is Foxtrot?
We've been trying to, figure out how to answer that question for about a decade now. But if you were to walk into your store right now, it very much is a coffee shop, right? So coffee drives the majority of our sales kind of from early in the morning until early in the afternoon. So it's people getting, matcha lattes and espresso and kind of hanging out, having meetings, working on their laptop. It's like really how folks start their day. And then in the afternoon, it shifts more towards the market. So people coming in and grabbing a bottle of wine after work, or a pint of ice cream, or cookies, or gummies, or kind of all the fun things that, get you through the afternoon in the evening. the stores typically have like 30-ish seats in them. And then now, finally, this week that the weather looks like we're hopefully out of the clear here, the patios have opened up, and so people are kind of hanging out on the patio as well. But I would think about it kind of the place for a great coffee in the morning, and then at night we've got a great selection of awesome wine and craft beer as well.
So great, so great. Now Webster's a beautiful street. I love how it's like tree lined, but there's also little ma and pa stores that line the street. It's always one of my favorites to drive down if I'm trying to cut through the neighborhoods instead of going those main arterials. How did you choose this most recent, the one that's about to open up?
So, as I said, selfishly, I live 2 blocks away from it, and so I've been staring at this building and being like, we gotta get a Foxtrot here. But it's really similar to how we opened up the first few in Chicago, which are finding these just great neighborhood locations where we can have a bit of space, we can have a patio, we can have a place where there's enough seating for folks to kind of come in and hang out. I think we saw just a lot of the big kind of national guys are pulling out of neighborhoods, and there's like not a lot of places to go and just like meet a friend and hang out, and spaces that aren't necessarily a bar, that aren't necessarily a restaurant, but like really that kind of cliched third space. And we find when we go like a bit deeper into neighborhoods, we can get more space and kind of get to have a fuller expression of the stores. So our team is all based in Chicago. We all live in neighborhoods across the city, and so some of it is looking at the data and figuring out kind of where we think a store would do well, but a lot of it is just folks on the team really wanting a neighborhood or a store in their neighborhood, and us finding the right space.
So how do you feel about like Northwest Indiana? Selfishly, that's
Caitlin lives near Crown Point.
We are starting. Yes, we are. It's funny, when we started this, we were all like 25, and everyone lived downtown, and now no one's 25 anymore, and everyone's got kids, and we're spreading out, and so the suburb talk is at the top of our agenda.
Northern suburbs right here. You guys would crush it up in my neck of the woods, between here and Ravinia.
I could see that.
Let's get serious though for a second. Like, where you got 2 locations in Dallas? Are those the only ones that are out of town?
Yes, I mean the company had 8 across Dallas and Austin. Then we had a few in DC as well. Okay. So when we reopened, we really wanted to. It was important that we really focused on the markets that we knew best. I mean, that's what makes Foxtrot. Foxtrot is having a deep connection with the local vendors and knowing what's going on in our cities. And the 2 that we knew best are Chicago and Dallas. And so that's where we started. That's where we're going to be for the next several years here. But I can't lie. It's nice to have a place in Texas open in the depths of the Chicago winter.
Yes, a little escape route.
Yes.
So the plan is for the foreseeable future, you're going to really kind of reestablish your base here in Chicago and those locations in Dallas. Long term, big picture, is this going to go even wider?
We'll see. I think right now we've got so much opportunity in Chicago. When the company closed, we had 15 locations in Chicago. We've got Webster will be our 7th. So there's still a lot of neighborhoods here that we want to reopen in, and we are pretty serious about the suburbs as well. So there's just a lot of room left to go here in Chicago, and that's where we're focused right now.
I love it. Chicago.
Yes. All right, Mike. Hey, good luck with this. I'll call it a relaunch. I know that there are so many locals. They were heartbroken when things shut down. But it's great to see these locations popping back up in the different neighborhoods.
And it was heartbreaking, but listen, we're talking about it now.
Yes.
So it was hard, but look at you now.
Yes.
And all over the news.
Yeah, we're definitely excited to be back.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Thanks for coming on the program. We appreciate it. And I had to stop by for some of those breakfast tacos. Thanks, Mike.
Oof, had some coffee, bottle of wine in the afternoon.
I do like what he said, how the store kind of changes as the hours of the day. It's like a coffee shop, breakfast place, and then it kind of morphs into, it takes on different identities at different times of the day. That's very unique.
Yeah.
Very unique.
I wonder if they swap like the afternoon shift. It knows how to make the delicious meals for the second half of the day, and then the morning baristas come in the morning and then get out of there.
All
I
right.
love that.
Yeah, it's great. All right, so we will see where they expand.
Yeah.
Maybe into one of these wealthy counties, because we've got a new list. We're gonna get on the back on the real estate, the local real estate beat, when we come back with some new stats about wealth in Illinois and rent trends. Rent.
Okay.
For folks who are still renting, not in the housing market, where you can find some good options. So that will be right when we come back here on Chicago Now.
So it sounds like they kind of just started getting too big too fast and wanted to reel it back in. Welcome back to Chicago Now. We're talking about trending topics, wealth in Illinois, and rent trends. So a new report from Smart Asset ranks the wealthiest counties in Illinois, and Cook County made the top 10, not for its medium income, but thanks to strong investment numbers and rising home values. So this is wealth measuring, wealthiest counties. So the top 10 wealthiest counties in Illinois based on the Smart Asset Wealth Index includes many that are in Chicagoland, a couple that aren't. So I'll go through these just to give you guys an idea of where these counties are in case you're not familiar. So Lake County, straight north. Lake County, right along the Wisconsin border, comes in at number one.
Top the list.
Yeah, so it has a 31.23 for its wealth index. DuPage County, that's going to be just west of Cook County. It's that little square box. So it's pretty tiny, 30.56. Kendall County. Okay, so we have Kendall, Kane, and Grundy. They're kind of in a line. So Kendall County comes in third at 28.10. 28.10. And then Will County is kind of far southwest.
That's, I believe, that's where Joliet is. So that came in 1, 2, 3. That was 4th.
Number 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should point out if you know any of the bigger cities.
Right, Joliet, I know is
Yeah.
out there. Aurora, I believe, is Will. They all run. There's so many to keep track of. And
yeah.
Kane, McHenry, they're in our viewing area as well.
Yes, and then Kane and McHenry.
But Monroe
McHenry's up there along the Wisconsin border too. Maybe a lot of vacation homes out there.
Monroe and Grundy. Grundy, you said, is down south.
Yep. So Grundy is going to be
They
that
came
Kane,
in
Kendall,
right
Grundy.
ahead of Cook.
And then we've got Cook. Yeah. So Cook is number 9 out of 10. 1,
Does
2,
that
3,
surprise
4,
you,
5,
Caitlin?
6.
Because think about all the wealth, like, Lake Forest, Winnetka, like those really wealthy communities along the lakefront there. But there's some obviously there's a lot of lower income spots in Cook, so that probably kind of brings down the wealth index. Again, these are ranked based on median income, investment income, and median home value. They kind of made that their own little index here.
This is shocking to me, actually. I feel like Cook should be number 1.
You do?
Because think about like the home costs and how many houses there are in Cook County versus
I just think
Will
most of the
County.
residents here in Cook County, there's so many lower income residents, south and west sides of Chicago, some of the south suburbs are lower income. And so I think, obviously Cook County is the most I think it's one of the most populous counties in the entire nation, but there's just such a wide variety of income levels that.
But even like when you get out to like Will County, Kane County, Kendall, I'm sure there's a lot of farmland and things.
That's true. That's true.
It's very interesting. So they're wealthiest.
Lake County, though, I'm not surprised there because there's just
That's
up
where
near
Kaplan
Wisconsin.
lives. So he accounts for 96%
Yes, indeed.
of this wealth.
The Greater Gurney Metroplex, as Mike Kaplan calls it. Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Meantime, Zumper has a rent report, a local rent report as well, showing that Oak Park, Illinois, it's the first suburb you get to west, I believe, has the highest one-bedroom rental prices in the entire area. And then this wouldn't surprise me either. Gary, Indiana, is the most affordable. Wheaton tops the list for fastest growing rents year over year. So that's an up-and-coming spot. Wheaton, Illinois.
I like Wheaton Terriers.
Wheaton, I can't remember the last time I was there. I mean, it would have been for a story.
Can we pull up Wheaton, Illinois?
I just know Wheaton, Warrenville South as just this football powerhouse, perennial.
I wonder if they got a cute downtown.
They may have a very cute downtown. Maybe we can get some photos of that. When it comes to rent, yes. So Oak Park, get this, $2,100, over $2,100 for a one bedroom. And this is not even in downtown Chicago. Caitlin, let's see.
Okay, so
$2,100 a month.
Wheaton
in
College.
2025.
Oh, for
a one
rent.
bedroom. That's up there.
Where
I mean,
was
it's not
this?
New York, it's not
Oak
San
Park.
Francisco, but Oak Park. And Oak Park does have an amazing downtown. It's right on the Green Line, so you can cruise right into the city.
Yeah.
It's almost like you have access to the city without kind of the, all the traffic and the congestion. So I can see where it's up and coming. There's a lot of history there. It's super like aesthetic.
Yeah. Okay, so Chicago came in second for highest rent.
After Oak Park. So Chicago was second, then Wheaton had the fastest growing. We got to
Yeah.
talk to the Wheaton mayor about what they're doing right out there, because it's pretty far out there. It's a good hour from downtown.
So the question is, do you think some of these suburbs are starting to price like the city? I think everything is expensive right now.
Yeah.
Literally everywhere, everything is expensive.
Does seem
I was
that way.
listening even this morning to a realtor that was saying that other realtors who recommend people sell their house that have a 2% interest rate, it should be criminal. Is what he
Oh,
was saying.
yeah. Right.
You should never let those go, which makes
Because
sense.
you're getting that loan for so cheap
I mean,
right
with
now.
this rent,
Yeah.
you could rent out your house for
Oh, right.
probably your
Yeah,
mortgage.
Exactly. Now, I was fascinated by the discussion we had, I believe it was last week, with the real estate agent who said that right now the downtown area home buying prices are so cheap. So I wouldn't be surprised if folks buy a condo. You were saying like River North and
Yeah.
this Lakeshore East.
Right.
Places are really affordable right now. If you've got some cash flow to scoop up one of those places and then rent it out. like you
Yeah,
said.
I think that might be the route to go. I don't know. Having roommates too. I mean, I guess that's an option. I was also seeing Airbnb. My
right.
girlfriend lives in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and she bought a house. And when she first bought it, she was Airbnb-ing like rooms in her
the house. Oh, like boarding house style.
Right.
Interesting.
Or like a.
Was it successful?
Yeah, she did it for a while, and a lot of times, if you're interested in doing something like this, medical professionals that are on like travel nursing,
right.
for example,
Yeah.
they're looking for somewhere to live temporarily. So, and it's more flexible if it's just a room in your house, you know, if you like have a basement or something. I know one of our coworkers does that too with their house. So that's an option to make it more affordable, Airbnb in your home.
I'm super jealous of my friend as well. He bought a small place in Durham, North Carolina, but there's a coach house in the back.
Oh.
With a unit.
Oh,
Can you
my.
imagine? And like
No.
he says that the Airbnb income that he gets from just renting out that above the garage unit pretty much covers their mortgage.
No
Isn't that so
way.
great? It's like a self-sustaining
That's
property
what you
model.
gotta do.
That's what you got to find.
I think I'm gonna put a shed in the backyard and try to do
And
that.
just those little mini houses,
Wouldn't that be cool?
Those tiny houses.
Yeah.
Have you seen?
Oh, of course I've seen.
If memory serves, there's like an Amazon thing where you order it, it's like 10 grand, but like
And you can
it's
put it together?
you connect it with the water and electricity, and like
Listen.
unfold it, and it's like ready
Yeah.
to go home.
You could do that with a yurt too. If you guys haven't heard of a yurt.
Yes, those circular things.
Yes. Those can be pretty glamorous, you guys.
Hey, you're in India. Do you have like a big plot of land in
No, I
India?
don't.
You could
And
do
in
a
fact,
yurt
my
in the back?
HOA would definitely
Oh,
not
they
let
wouldn't
me
be
do
cool with that.
They
All
don't
right.
even let you put your garbage cans
As
outside.
we brainstorm on our own, we need some expert help, and we're going to get some extra expert help. When we come back, we're going to be speaking with a finance expert for the younger set. If you're in your 20s, 30s, or even 40s, and we're still young. We're still
Yeah.
young. Okay. We are going to be speaking with Liz Sheehan coming up. She is the senior VP of wealth management at a local financial firm, and she's going to give us kind of the basics on what we all need to know as we navigate this economy. That is when we come back.
Welcome back to Chicago Now. It's 10:35, and we are talking all about your finances, and we are getting the best advice for the 20s, the 30s, and the 40-something-year-olds out there. Our guest is Liz Sheehan. She's the Senior Vice President of Wealth Management. She's going to talk about all life stages. So I just mentioned this age range. So the first question, which, by the way, thanks for joining us, Liz. I hope you're doing well today. So what is the smartest way to invest with limited cash in your 20s? We were just talking about how rent is so expensive, buying a house is so expensive. So what do you do when you don't have very much to work with?
Sure, I love this question. I think the first thing that I would recommend that people do if they don't have a whole lot of extra cash is start just by building up an emergency fund. So in the event, there is unforeseen job loss or one-off expense that might come up, they always have more than enough cash on hand to meet their needs. A good general rule of thumb is just to have 3 to 6 months of cash in your bank account, so that you avoid things like debt, interest payments on credit cards, that sort of thing. And then once that emergency fund is already set up, that's when I would start looking at saving into retirement accounts as well. And a great way to do that is just through your employers if they have a retirement plan that's available to you.
What would be your advice in terms of calculating the amount, that 3 to 6 month amount that you want to have on hand? How do we do the math in our heads for how much we know to have before we get to the point where we can start maxing out our 401ks?
Yes, I would calculate by adding up all of your day-to-day living expenses. So whether that's a mortgage, your rent payment, childcare expenses, everything that you need to live on a monthly basis. I would total that up, start with that number. And then if you have kids, I would err on the side of 6 months. If you have people that are relying on you for your income, err on the longer side of that, so 6 months. And if it's just you and you're on your own, I would probably err more on the side of 3 months of living expenses.
So add all that up, multiply by 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. Once you have your amount, then now let's talk about next steps. Okay, so a lot of times our employers offer a retirement savings plan. Take advantage of those, obviously. What are some other options or strategies?
Yeah, it really depends on the individual, their family circumstances, and that's kind of going to dictate what the best vehicles might be for them and where it makes the most sense to save. The best way to kind of identify what types of accounts you should use is really to work with a financial planner who can advise you based on your situation, what your taxes are, what they look like, and what types of accounts would make the most sense. It might be a Roth IRA account. It might be saving to just a regular old taxable account where you can set up a monthly deposit into the account and save on a regular basis. But a good financial planner will make it easy for you and really outline the best way to set up a saving strategy.
So I have 2 questions. The first one, circling back. Do you think that we should pay off our debt before we invest? And then number 2, once we have that emergency fund, should we put it in a high yield savings account or just the regular savings account?
Great questions. Yes, I always look at it as a math problem, right? And if somebody tells me that they have a credit card where they're paying 20% interest on the credit card, well, it's going to be very difficult for a good financial advisor to beat 20% by investing in the market. So to me, once you have the emergency fund set up again, I would look at aggressively paying down that debt first and foremost. And then I love the question about, the savings account, because right now, a lot of times if you don't proactively go out and ask for a better yielding savings account or a better interest rate, you might not make that much on your cash. And that's really a missed opportunity with interest rates being over around 4% right now. So I would certainly look into making sure you're maximizing your cash and getting a good interest rate on your cash deposits.
How about savings goals? What would you advise somebody in their 20s to have saved up? I mean, obviously the more the merrier, of course, but given the fact that this is a tough economy, it's a tough job market, any rules of thumb that folks in their 20s should keep in mind when it comes to savings goals?
Sure. One thing that I always try and tell our clients to do is to know their number. And there are always these rules of thumb in our industry where they'll say, save X% of your income. It really comes down to you and what your goals are, if you're going to be buying a house, if you're retiring early. So there's not really a hard, fast rule of thumb. But what I would say is that again, work with a financial planner, or even there are some great online calculators that you can use to start backing into how much you should be saving on a regular basis if you don't have access to a financial planner. And I would start with that. But what I see a lot of people do, I'll just add on, a lot of people decide what they're going to save after the month is over. So what I mean by that is they see what's left over in their checking account at the end of the month, and then they decide what they're going to save. We have to reverse that and start with saving at the top,
Yeah.
and then spend the money. So that's just one piece of advice I would offer.
Oh, that's
Too
good.
easy to overspend.
You can set up your direct deposit as well to kind of like automatically go into different pots, right?
That's what I do. I advise all of our clients to do that because I don't even know what my checking account would look like with my full paycheck in it. If the money's out of your account, if it's whether it's going to a retirement plan or another individual investment account, if you don't have access to that money, it's like you don't
miss
even
it.
see it. You don't feel it.
Yeah, we do that too with our mortgage and car payment. You kind of just
That's
like
a good
pull it
idea.
out every
love
time,
it.
so then it comes
Don't
out of
even
that
see
fund.
it.
So you always have it. So now we're working into our 30s. So Anthony asked about 20s. If you're in your 30s, maybe you're thinking about having babies. Maybe you have some babies. You still are being pinched. Your wallet's being pinched.
Yeah.
So if you don't have that much extra to save, do you still recommend that people put money away for their kids' college fund and whatever's left for retirement, or is it the other way around? You save for your retirement first, then you pinch some pennies for your kids?
Yes, I see this happen a lot, and oftentimes I'll see individuals save for their kids' futures, often to their own detriment. And I think that's really, really dangerous. So I always advise that make sure that first and foremost, your expenses are covered, your retirement future is taken care of. And of course, if you want to save for your kids' college, I think that's wonderful. I have 2 boys that certainly I want to make sure that they have money to go to college at some point as well. But I want to make sure all of our clients are taking care of retirement first. And again, a good financial planner will create a roadmap to say how much you should be putting into your own retirement accounts versus how much you should be saving for your kids and what's a good balance. But I don't want to see people put their own financial future at risk.
Well, I'm not very financially savvy. Will you run us through, Liz, why that is a bad idea to take care of your kids before your own retirement? What's the risk there?
Yeah, I mean, the real risk is they get to retirement and they don't have any funds available, whereas their kids, I know debt might not be a great option, and taking on student loans isn't something that parents would like to do if they don't have to. But at least that student has time to work through that and make money and earn their way out of it. Whereas the parents, if they retire, there really aren't any additional levers they can take advantage of at that point in time if they haven't saved enough.
Can I ask something too? Speaking of pinching pennies, I know you're a financial advisor and you sound fantastic. If someone is interested in talking to a financial advisor, what is like the price range for that? How much does it cost?
It really depends. It depends on what you're looking for from your financial advisor, what your asset level is, what type of service you're really going to need. What I would always suggest is that finding the right financial advisor is about having a good rapport with somebody and feeling like you can ask them any financial question, and that you don't feel dumb calling and saying, what's a stock? What is the S&P 500? Like they'll always educate you as opposed to make you feel kind of silly for your questions. So one great way to do that is just ask friends and family who they use, who they recommend, and really ask a lot of questions. Find out, would you be working with that person? Would you be working with their team? What is their pricing model? Come up. So what I would really advise is you prioritize the saving now, because as much as we want to think we're going to work long into our retirement, sometimes we don't get to decide when we are going to retire. So I think that the earlier you get started, the much better off you'll be. When clients come to me in their 40s and they haven't saved anything, well, then it's as if they didn't have somebody else making money for them along the way. Because when you have an investment account, that investment account's making money for you. So the sooner you get it to work, the better off you're going to be financially.
How about credit card? What's your assessment of this current generation? I guess we could go millennials and younger. Are they being responsible with their credit cards these days?
Some, yes, but my general rule is that you only spend the money that you have.
Yeah.
So if you don't charge expenses on a credit card if you don't have the money to pay it off. And credit card rates are extremely high. So if you have those high balances, going back to your earlier question, I would really focus on making sure that those get paid off.
Yeah. I've noticed too, my parents never had credit cards when I was growing up. As I've gotten older, if you do stay on top of it, which I know I follow Dave Ramsey, the financial advisor too, he says do not get credit cards. But with that being said, they do have some good kickbacks.
Rewards, yeah.
If you're going
if you're
to Sam's
responsible,
Club and you pay it off right away, then you it might be worth it, do you think?
Well, here's the problem. People open credit cards at all these different banks and all these different stores. And then I was talking to a client recently. They had no idea what the family was spending because they had about 8 different credit cards.
Oh.
So on a monthly basis, they felt like they were cash poor every month, but they just had no handle on what their expenses would be. So if you are going to use credit cards and pay them off every month, that's great. But trying to limit the amount of cards that you or your family is using, because otherwise it's really hard to track what the outflow actually is.
Yeah.
This is super, super helpful. As I talk to you, Liz, I'm kind of retroactively disappointed that I didn't take like a personal finance class in high school or college. Do they offer?
It should be mandatory.
It should be.
They should. They really should.
Yeah.
Especially with the investing things. I feel like I don't
completely
know the
because
first
like
thing
she
about
points
it.
out that if you wait too long, then there's this
Missed
money
opportunity.
making opportunity that you're missing out on for years. Anything else you want to add before we let you go that you want to make sure our audience hears about? Common mistakes, anything. The floor is yours. Or did we pretty much cover it?
You did a great job. I mean, the one other thing I would say a lot of people don't do is talk to their partner, talk to their spouse. If they have a significant other in their life, talk about their finances. A lot of times we like to assume the other person's taking care of it, which we found leads to a lot of anxiety, stress, and sometimes some really bad decisions. So if you're not having open communication with your spouse or partner, make sure you're doing that.
Thank
Very,
you.
very good advice.
Yes.
How many fights have we had with our spouse about finances? Liz Sheehan, thank you. So helpful. We really, really appreciate your time. Thank you. Yes, indeed. I think there's surveys that said for between married couples, like finances are like the #1 thing that couples fight about.
Oh, me and Grady never do.
You never do?
Never do. Never do. I know, it's weird. And then there's the question of, do you mesh your finances or do you keep them separate? Because I know many couples who keep their finances separate.
It's very, very individualized.
We squish it together, and what's mine is yours and yours is mine, and maybe that's why we don't fight.
But yeah, no, there's I have friends in my life as well who have separate little stacks
now,
and
the way
different
we go
arrangements
about
and things.
spending, though, I know me and Maggie both. We order 500 things. We take back 497 of them and keep 3.
That stresses me out.
That stresses
like, what if
Brady
they
out
get
too?
lost in the mail? Look at all those boxes.
I know. I do that too.
Okay. Hey, we all like spending money on pizza.
Oh,
you got to have a pizza budget, and when we come back, we're going to check in with our very own Gabby Premus. She's been checking out some cool pizza spots right here in Chicago.
Yum.
Stick with us. We'll be right back.
And welcome back. We're kicking off something fun and new on Chicago Now, a pizza review series. So Gabby visited a Chicago spot that's already gotten the Dave Portnoy treatment. Now she's giving us her take, and I cannot wait to hear all the details. I
Yes,
want to know
take it
about
away,
the
Gabs.
sauce.
Where'd you go?
Well, Anthony, Caitlin, I think that you guys definitely know about Barstool's Dave Portnoy,
yeah.
how he goes to these different pizza places around the country. He gives his review of these places, and usually whether they're a great review or really not that great of a review, people still flock to these areas. But one of our digital experts here at Fox 32 had the genius idea to hey, why don't we go to these pizza places that have been reviewed and ask the chef, like, hey, do you think that was fair? What could you guys have done better? Did you see it coming at all? Do you even know who this person is? So we went to Danucci's Italian. It's open Lincoln Park. It's by Oz Park there. So perfect spot. Beautiful inside, the patio is beautiful outside, the pizza I thought was very good. So we talked to Chef Sal, and he gave us not only a look behind the scenes at the restaurant, let us make some pizza, but also try some as well. Oh, Lincoln Park. Okay, we're here at Danucci's with Sal.
Hi.
Dave came to Danucci's and gave
Yes.
you a score. What was it, and were you happy with it?
It was 7.5. I'm fine with that. It needed more minutes inside the oven for sure. I believe with the well done the pizza, it was a full 8.
Show the 8+ rated
The
pizza.
A+, right. So, Dave, I'm sorry, I have like extra parm here, Parmigiano for you. We don't use a parm from Wisconsin. We use a Parmigiano Reggiano from Italy. So people love that. It gives an extra flavor to the pizza. The details makes the difference for sure.
Just show them how it's made.
Yeah.
Let's go
why
inside.
not?
Show
Let's
them
go
how it's
inside.
made. All right.
The most important thing here is the crust all around. It's a mix of different things. Growing up in Italy, I'm from Sicily. I'm surrounded of nature, colors, people working with hands, all these artisanal things. So we opened Pizza by Sal first in Wilmette, the North Shore, and then we opened this location right after and we introduced the pizza here. That's why on the menu it also says Pizza by Sal. Sal is a real person, it's not like just a name, it's me. And our lovely Parmigiano.
A little extra for Dave.
Yeah, little extra. Okay, sounds good.
Okay, so Dave came in, Dave Portnoy, gave you a review, 7.5.
Yes.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it is good.
Did you
I'm
think-
glad with that.
What was your reaction to knowing that he came in?
I was surprised. I didn't expect that for sure. It was for me also a good thing. I like his point of view on pizza and judgments. We can make a better job do a crispier pizza for sure because that's how I like. And then I was missing something. It was for sure a full 8.
So you knew who he was before he
No,
came.
I didn't know. I didn't know it was before the review. Hey
him.
Dave, I'm waiting for you. So we can make a special pizza here and I cook it for you and then you give me the bolts. Okay? Danucci's, ready to go. Here you go,
sir.
Gabby.
All right. See ya. Extra Parmesan. Okay, Danucci's Lincoln Park. It'd be a disservice to everyone if we didn't give it a try ourselves. Of course, this has my own little sweat and tears in it, but look at it. It looks amazing. But we gotta give it our own try. One bite, everyone knows the rules. First, the flop test. Nice and stiff, a little extra crispy, more like 8 minutes in the oven, and extra Parmesan. Let's give it a taste. I'm gonna eat this at home.
I have no words, Gabby.
Gabby.
Oh no, I can't hear her. Can you hear her?
No, I can't hear her.
Gabby, your mic might be. Oh, let's
There we
try
go.
now.
Now
Go
you're
ahead,
on.
go
You're
ahead.
on
Now
now.
you can hear me.
Yes.
There we go. I was saying I might not be as tough as a critic as Dave Portnoy was, but I thought it was really good pizza. I gave it a 10 because, of course, I had a little piece into it. Like, I made the pizza. Plus, Sal was such a good teacher. But his main critique, so Dave's main critiques was that it was not as hard as he wished it was, not as crispy. Also, it had too much Parmesan. I guess Dave doesn't like Parmesan. But he did say that he loved their icon, or their little graphic that they have on the pizza box.
On the box? It looked like a little car. Was it a car?
Yeah, it was a little car, guy driving around, probably Lincoln Park
It
on
was
a nice
so
summer
cute.
day.
And the outside of that building is beautiful.
And that's part of what I asked Sal. I said, I wish that they would give a critique based off like the whole experience,
Yeah.
right? Because it's so beautiful in there. The patio, I can't even imagine how great it is on a nice sunny day. So I think vibe check, pizza check, it gives a 10. Plus they have a great menu with lots of other stuff, not just pizza.
We should all of us on the morning shift, we should just, on a Friday afternoon,
Yeah.
go up there, sit on that patio. Gabby, very well done. I like with the pizza, what do you call it? A pizza
You did the
shovel?
whole thing.
Oh yeah,
You know,
I learned a lot of new skills, guys.
Gabby, we made pizza at my house the other day, like with the little pizza dough from Aldi. We didn't know how to get the dough flat, but I just watched you and learned so much. You push it out from the center.
Well, the outtakes, I was kind of messing up. I was making holes in the pizza, so Sal had to give me a couple tries, but I got it after a while.
Good job, Gabby. And
Thank
it was
you,
like sizzling,
Gabby.
the cheese.
It looked
just,
perfect to me. I'm
was good.
not surprised it was a 10.
I want some of that pizza.
Keep
I
these
was
segments
trying
coming.
to remember what you were wearing, because if you were wearing that black shirt, I was going to say, Gabby, where's the pizza? Where
I
is
know.
that pizza?
Oh, yeah.
It's good. My mouth is literally watering right now thinking
Oh,
about it.
same.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Field trip.
Thanks, Gabby.
Field
That
trip
was
in
awesome.
our future.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Well, she admits that she's not quite the tough critic, but I mean, I saw no flaws in that thing.
It looks beautiful.
Looked absolutely beautiful. All right, so I guess we have maybe a minute left.
Okay.
So we are going to see what Chicagoans are abuzz about on Reddit, the Chicago subreddit. Caitlin, this is one that's directly for you. When is it going to warm up and stay that way? Writes Dapper Dan Man.
Yeah.
Is this normal?
Normal high today, 70. So is this normal? No, we're abnormally warm. With this time that we have left, can I tell you guys a story of what happened to me this morning? I forgot until just now, and I have to share. So I got up at 2 a.m. because I was working for Kaplan, you know?
Yeah.
Listen to this, you guys. This is a true story. I go downstairs, making my coffee. All of a sudden, I hear very loud jazz music in my house. 2 in the morning. I'm like, what is that? So I'm looking around, and it was comically creepy. I was like, this is funny. Like, where is this loud music coming from? You know, sometimes I hear like a toy or something from my kids, you know, play.
Sure.
That would make sense. Jazz music, excuse me? So then I was like, if this is coming from the basement, I'm gonna go wake up my husband and make him go look at what's going on in the basement.
Yeah,
But this
you're not going
started
down
when I
there.
was making coffee. Everybody's sleeping.
Oh, it started, so it wasn't
It
even
wasn't
okay.
on. It turned on when I was downstairs.
All right.
So I go upstairs because I figured out that's where the sound was coming from. The TV was on upstairs and playing jazz music, really loud. It was
So was it left on?
crazy.
Was it left on or did
No. Now my dog was upstairs, and the remote was kind of by
Okay,
him, so I
so
thought
maybe
maybe
he
the
clicked
dog
it
jumped
on?
on it. But when I tell you at first, imagine 2 a.m. you're in your kitchen making coffee, your whole house is asleep, and then all of a sudden this jazz music is like blaring in your house.
Similar thing happened to me in the morning as well. When I woke up, 2:15 in the morning, it turned out to be Alexa. Alexa was left on.
Oh,
Our
my
kitchen
gosh.
Alexa
Oh,
was
my
left on.
gosh.
So it wasn't like I didn't have that jarring moment, but
Where it turned
was
on?
It was a little nice to have some music going
Was
in the
it?
morning, though. Yeah, because you're like groggy. It actually is kind of.